I need to write this quickly. It's watching. I'll just jump right into it. I don't have the time to tell too many details, but I'll try my best to tell you all of what put me near the brink of my sanity, and is the reason for me to type this. Around 3 months ago, I wanted to play some games, because I had completely finished all of my other ones, start to finish. It was late, and I was also tired. Also, I was also drained because of a paper I had to write, and I needed to play some kind of game desperately to rest. I didn't have any money to spare for anything new though. I had already spent most of it on rent at the time. I decided in the end to improvise and dig through all of my old games and see if I could find just a single game I had not finished. I did. I found my old Nintendo 64 and Super Mario 64. I got a surge of warming memories when I found the cartridge. I remember getting all the way to around 76 stars. I let out a small smile and noticed something. Mario looked as if he was frowning, like he was stranded and alone. I still wanted to play, but something about that frown was just unnerving. Yet, I still stuck the cartridge into the slot and flipped the power switch. As it started, it froze on the title screen. I got a little frustrated with it and tried again. The same thing happened. Come on! The game just simply refused to play. Despite countless attempts I simply could not get the game to work correctly. I tried cleaning it and blowing into it, but nothing would work. Finally, just when I was about to throw the controller out of blind rage, it worked. Alright! The title screen was almost normal. Almost. The face of Mario on the title screen had a slight frown as well. I tried to mess with his face, but it wouldn't let me so much as move the head at all. So I shook it off and gathered a bit of courage and selected start. My profile was right there where I had left it. I noticed just like I had anticipated, I had exactly 76 stars. So I attempted to play my profile, to see where I exactly left off. It seemed to freeze. And this time I grew furious. Why won't you work? As if the game had heard me, it started. It surprised me a bit, but then I just scolded myself for being so impatient. I was on the inside of the castle. Everything was exactly the same. Most of the game was completely normal. Every now and again the game would freeze, but nothing I couldn't just restart the game for. Another thing I would occasionally see was a pair of eyes staring at me. I knocked it off as simply as a graphics glitch. It was only when I reached the staircase to the final stage that things began to really get strange. I had all 120 stars, and I began to ascend the staircase, but the staircase never ended. I started to run up the staircase, but it wouldn't stop. So I decided to turn around and try to see if maybe it was a glitch and just try to go up again. The staircase still never ended, though I was going down, not up. I got a little freaked out by this and frantically ran both ways trying to find a way to get off the staircase. I then noticed Mario's face. It looked like he was frowning. A small text box appeared stating, "It's waiting." Mario then seemed to sink into the floor and his drowning animation was played. I looked at the screen bewildered as to what had just happened. Then it spawned me into a pitch black room. All that was there was the pair of eyes. They just stared at Mario. I took the controller and tried to move quickly away from the eyes, but they followed in pursuit. After multiple attempts to escape the game, after multiple attempts to escape the gaze of those eyes, a text box appeared. ... Then I moved Mario away, and to my surprise, the eyes didn't follow me. In fact, they soon disappeared into the darkness. As I ran, it felt as if Mario was growing more and more uneasy. Then Mario seemed to be running into a wall. I panned the camera around to see the eyes directly in front of Mario. This time, I jumped a little bit, dropping the controller. I quickly switched the console off. I needed to get away from that game. I decided that I was just tired and needed some sleep to clear my mind. I hadn't slept very well in 4 days, and I knew that lack of sleep could possibly result in hallucinations. So I softly lifted my head into my pillow and let the warm comfort of sleep overtake me. As I did, I felt like I was falling into a dark abyss. I saw those eyes. They were all around me as I fell. They stared blankly right at me. I felt cold fear surge through me. Yet, I could not move or scream nor do anything at all. All I could do was fall and fall. It felt like an eternity had passed. Yet I still stood there frozen as I fell with those eyes looking at me. Then I heard a small whisper in the dark reaches of my dream. Why? After that word, I jolted out of my bed and almost instantly, hitting my head on the top of the lamp. It was around midnight when I woke up. I rubbed my head with a groan, then I got up and watched TV for a bit. Something seemed to be drawing me back to that game. I decided that maybe since I had received sleep, I would be fine, so I started the game again. This time, Mario was smiling. This greatly lifted my spirits and seemed to confirm my hunch. I selected play and started my profile again. I was right back in the lobby of the castle. I slowly made my way all the way to the top of the castle to the staircase. Feeling a bit more confident at this time, I would be able to make it to the top no problems at all. As I opened the door, I looked at the staircase for a moment. Then I ran up the staircase. This time I made it to the top with little trouble at all. And I even let out a sigh of relief when I reached the top. I just jumped down the hole and continued on. The level was the same, but to my surprise and horror, there were no enemies in sight. I grew a little nervous. As I continued along, I noticed that the game would freeze for about 2 seconds every now and then. I also noticed everything that moved had stopped. The platform sat virtually motionless. This made it almost impossible for me to complete the stage without any form of hack. Eventually I reached the end of the stage. I just jumped down the pipe. I was in the same black room as before, but there weren't any eyes. I ran around the room looking for some sort of way out of it. Eventually the staircase music began to play, and there were the eyes moving towards me, smiling. I turned Mario away, but the eyes were right there in front of him. Mario's body warped and then the game froze. I hesitated, but I restarted the system. Upon the start, I heard the staircase music again. This time Mario's head was missing from the title screen. I also noticed that there was a new profile that had replaced the old one. It had 0 stars. After I mustered some courage, I selected it. I was shaking a little bit from apprehension of what was to come. It loaded me up to Mario's body on the ground, in the void, just lying there. After multiple attempts to make anything happen by pressing the buttons randomly, I decided I should just restart the console. I felt something grip me, though right before I could turn it off, I looked up. What? Mario had stood up and now was looking right at the screen. His face was now like the eyes. He was staring right at me. I could feel his stare. I started to shake. The stare was identical to the eyes I kept seeing. I was then teleported to the flying stage, but I was never put on a platform. I was just falling. As I continued to fall, it got darker and darker the farther I fell, until Mario hit the ground with a crunch. I heard a faint whisper nearly the same as in my dream. Why? I turned the console off quickly. I was shaking and I felt paranoid. I checked my room repeatedly. I tried everything to calm myself down, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched closely. I thought to myself, it's just a game, right? I wanted to know, though, why was this happening? I decided that I was going to finish what I had started, and I proceeded to turn on the system one more time. As I did, Mario's head had reappeared and was once again smiling. I was confused. Was it playing with me? I noticed that my file was back. I nervously selected the file and it started. I was automatically started in Big Boo's haunt. I looked around and then went inside. It was pitch black, and only faint small light illuminated the room. Why do you torture me? I saw the eyes approach me this time. There was a figure that slowly came into the light. It was Mario. The game simply froze and crashed with an error message saying that the memory had been corrupted. After that, the game would never work no matter how hard I tried to get it to work. Worst of all, I kept thinking about those eyes being Mario. Was he angry that people had played and purposely killed him for the fun of it? That as we played, we were blindly unaware of the hidden pain that the mustache plumber carried on his back? And that every time he died, he descended into an hell he paved himself? I'm not sure, but I keep thinking that I see those eyes whenever I'm alone in the dark room or when I sleep. Even as I type this, I'm not sure if I could take the staring anymore. Well. That was It's Watching. The It's Watching Mario Creepypasta. Another Mario Creepypasta. I don't know if... it's been a while since I've done a Mario Creepypasta. I think the last one I did was the... I believe it was Super Mario 128. Well, if you count the Bowser King Boo theory, that's technically another one, but that was just focusing mostly on the theory about Bowser is King Boo. If you want to talk about just a straight up Mario creepypasta, then I think it was Super Mario 128. But what do I think about this? I remember watching, well, obviously when you look for the link to the story in the description, you're going to notice Some Ordinary Gamer's Wiki. That was the only place I could find it. And I know that Mudahar read this, and I actually was really intrigued by it back when I watched the video of him reading it many years ago before he deleted it. I actually kind of liked the story a little bit back then, but I don't know. It's okay. Alright, I'll just say that. It's alright. It's not great. It's good. It's alright. Not every story is going to be great, or there's going to be stories that are going to be great, and there's going to be stories that are just complete shit. But this one falls in the middle. Close to the middle. I don't know. But the whole idea of, again, it's cliche as hell at this point. Cartridge is corrupted somehow. The game, you're playing some kind of ROM hack of the game, and you don't realize it. The game was corrupted and this new level appeared and shit. It's like, come on, that's been done a million fucking times. I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of inspiration coming from the Zelda one, the Ben Drowned one. That's the holy grail of cartridge glitched cartridge, corrupted cartridge creepypastas out there. It's the most iconic one. And I have not read that one yet. One day I will, but it may be a while before I do so. It's a pretty lengthy one too, so again, it's just cliche. You can kind of tell there's a lot of cliches in this. Again, there's also a lot of grammar mistakes. I don't know how to word it, but there's a lot of sentences that just, there's certain words that are misplaced in certain places where it shouldn't be. One of the sentences that just kind of really threw me off, huh? Also, I was drained because of a paper that I had to write and needed desperately to play some kind of game to rest. I didn't know, I couldn't read it correctly. I'm like, what? It just threw me off. I know now I could, but back when I started reading it, I'm like, huh? There's certain words that just misplaced a little bit. I guess it's just a little mistake, but what are you gonna do? I want to see what people are saying about this creepypasta. Yeah, some people are like, huh, I didn't know that this creepypasta was real. Is this real? No, like, I get the idea of the story, like Mario watching and shit, it's haunting your dreams and shit. But, and then again with the whole, why do you torture me? It's almost like, reminds me of the Mario one. The Mario creepypasta with the whole, like, he went into a hell that looks like Yoshi's Island. He was atoning for his actions, like I remember, I don't know, if I remember correctly, wasn't there some kind of line that was similar to the was he angry that people played and purposely killed him for the fun of it? Like I'm pretty sure there was like a line in that story that was similar to that. I'm like, I'm getting a lot of flat like reminders of the Mario creepypasta because that's wasn't that the point of that one? But again, it's always with pitch black room. Pitch black room. Like, come on. Why do you torture me? Like what? I don't know. It's just maybe a little nitpick to me. It's like, I don't know. But I honestly, again, also another bench round. I keep saying, oh, that's it, but I just add another thing to it. Whatever comes to my mind is just what I say. But with certain bench round elements, like the file disappears and then reappears, like just like in bench round, right? Like you saw the name Ben, and then there's a new file, drowned. Like, huh? You know, that's just you could tell. Like it's an obvious like the author of the story probably took a lot of inspiration from a lot of creepypastas like Ben Drowned, Sonic.exe, and Mario, among others. So overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was okay. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Like it's not great. It's cliche as all hell and is really dated. This is like around 2013-ish, I think the story. 2013, 2014 was when the story was read. There was also another story I remember watching Mudahar read. It was a Luigi's Mansion creepypasta. It was called Good Night or something. And unfortunately, that was the very first creepypasta I came across. The Good Night one. And I don't know why. That was the video I discovered some Ordinary Gamers, was that story. So, I don't know how that ended up being the case, but shit happens. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's creepypasta reading. Now, I'm pretty sure, I honestly don't even know when the story's going up, when I'm going to be putting up this video. Maybe it's probably going to end up being put up in 2019, which is probably right now. But I'm recording this in 2018. Like, I'm trying to get a little ahead of the game here with the creepypastas. I want to try to get back into the creepypasta reading stuff. I'm trying really hard to do this time because it seems like I always promise I will get onto it, but then it just stops. It doesn't happen. Like and I keep breaking my promises all the time. But again, hopefully I can keep this going and keep the pace going. Try to be consistent with creepypasta readings, at least one or two creepypastas a month. Maybe 1 to 3 creepypastas a month. I'm not exactly sure yet. But that's what I'm trying to aim for. And again, if you have any suggestions for creepypastas to read, let me know in the comments down below. I'm trying to figure out what creepypasta I want to read next myself. Like, There's a lot, like, I read pretty much some of the good ones, like the more well-known, most of the well-known ones. Like, I read some of the more iconic ones, like not Ben Drowned, the Squidward Suicides, the Suicide Mouses, the Strangest Security Tapes, Dead Bart, Abandoned by Disney, Room Zero, Tape from Discovery Island, My Biggest Fan, which was some Ordinary Gamers creepypasta, Mario, Sonic.exe, JVK166Z.esp. I don't know how I remember that. If that's actually the title, I haven't read that in years. Like, I haven't read that name, like, that whole statement in years. So I'm like, huh? How do I remember that? Without even thinking. Fallout 3 number stations. Now I'm trying to remember. Super Mario 128, Jeff the Killer, Metroid 2 Secret Worlds, Metroid Mother, the Disney Catacombs, Working at Disney, the Smash Brothers Hidaka, and the Bowser King Boo Theory. I'm pretty sure I'm missing a couple right now, but that's the majority I remember right now. But I pretty much read the most pop. Oh, the Rush of Sleep Experiment. I can't forget that one. That has to be made into like a short film. That one with, like, especially with the line at the end by that one of those subjects. Have you forgotten so easily? We are you. We are the madness that lurks within you all. Like, that whole speech, that should be like, that whole creepypasta should be turned into like a short film, or I'm not saying like a full-length feature film, because that would be like, it would be over in like 30 minutes. That's the problem. Like a short film, you know? I'm pretty sure there are ones out there, but I'm not exactly sure. So I'm trying to figure out, like, I don't know. So anyways, if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments down below. I'm probably, like, the only one I'm probably thinking of doing next is another Mario creepypasta, and it's another Super Mario 64 creepypasta. I think it's called Super Mario 64 Damned. I don't know. That's the one I remember, like, that's what I remember it being called. But that's probably the next one I'm going to be reading. So be on the lookout for that if that's the case. But please let me know suggestions. Leave me suggestions for creepypastas for me to read. Like, if you have any favorites from Mudahar, yeah, that you want me to read, suggest them to me. Like, I'm probably thinking of also reading We Are Twisted. Nintendo Wii. WII are twisted. That one. It's another horrible creepypasta, but I just like because I remember it was pretty funny too. Like, the amount of cliches and blood count is just so fucking funny. Like, it's like so much blood and cliches, and it's like, oh my god. Alright, enough rambling. I rambled long enough. God almighty. This video would have been over in like 5 minutes ago, but I just keep going. So I hope you guys enjoyed this creepypasta reading. Overall, it's okay. Some cliche stuff in there, but what are you gonna do? There's usually a lot of cliche stuff in it, most of these creepypastas anyway. So if you have any changes in this if you have any changes to make in this creepypasta to make it better, leave it in the comments down below. If you like what you saw here, hit the like button, subscribe, share this video with your friends. Be sure to ring that bell to be part of the notification squad. Be sure to also check out my Instagram, because I make cool edits of Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, even myself. I also do reenactments and cosplays on there, so go check it out. Be sure to also check out my Tumblr, it's in the description as well. So until next time, JRDL96 signing out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!